So I've been trading for the past 3 years, and these are the kind of things that I've identified and utilized. A lot of people, when you've started trading, whether that be forex, whether that be cryptocurrency, they're going to be telling you, use this, use that, use this, use that, use that. And it sounds a little bit like a song. And look at these indicators. You can see there's a bunch of different indicators. Ultimately, there's only 3 or 4 indicators that you may or may not even use. The best traders that I've ever seen, they don't even use any indicators. They only use 2 things and 2 things only, and that is basic level support and resistance. So basic level support and resistance is the bulk of this video, and it's going to ideally show you you don't need anything else. Everything else is a lie. You only need support and resistance. If it's falling below support, then it's just breached the support level. That means it's going to be going down. That means you're going to need to short. If it breaches the resistance, guys, it's breached the resistance. That means it's going to go up. You're going to have to long. If it fails to breach support, if it fails to breach resistance, that means it's not able to do that. That means that the support is strong, and that means that it's most likely going to bounce from that level. Again, you're going to long. There's various different ways that you can identify and utilize it. There's so many different, for example, I use Williams fractals. Let me show you what it is. Williams fractals will show you this. They'll show you this, and you can see this. What it does is it tells you where to put your stop losses and your take profit margins. It helps, but it cluttered. You don't really, when you're trading, the most important thing is you don't want to see cluttering. You just want to see importance, and you just want to understand where to go. There's other stuff that I tried. B bands, so Bollinger Bands are very important. That's going to be in one of our other videos because it's going to teach you how to scalp. And what you want to do is when you scalp, you've just got your 1 biddy. So when I trade, I use my 1 biddy as a scalp support. And with that 1 biddy, I can make almost, for example, most days I'm making 100% using that 1 biddy. So yeah, let's get on with it. So we're going to be teaching you support and resistance. So here, we're not going to be showing you yo-yo. My most funnest support and resistance one is Ethereum. Reason why is because there's not a lot of fun in Ethereum. There's not a lot of people that like it, and there's been a lot of market manipulation according to a lot of people on Reddit and Steemit. So I'm going to quickly remove all of these drawing tools and we're going to see it. So this is the 1 day. We're going to start with the 1 day because we need to identify, ultimately it doesn't matter where you're trading, it is going to end there by the end of the day. And my favorite is going to be the horizontal line. This is where we're going to be leading any support or resistances because it shows you where it needs to be. So here's that support, and ultimately, guys, remember, support ultimately becomes resistance later on. So here is another support. Here's another support slash resistance. Here is a further one. Here is another one. And ultimately it goes as high as this. There it is. And then you'll see another one that's like this.
Okay, we're going to Knightsbridge later on in the evening. We have a meeting.
Bro.
What?
I'm talking. And there's going to be another one. Here, so you ultimately see support becomes resistance. And what you can see, so I'll talk you through a trade that I made earlier back in April. I suppose I saw that it was just failing ultimately to bounce off resistance, bounce off support. Here it is. Let's go back to April. Now we'll walk back through that strategy and I'll explain to you why I saw that. Here it is. So in and around April, you can ultimately see that it just kept failing to hit the support. So here we can see it from that level. Let's get one of these square boxes out here. You can see around here, it just kept failing to hit that support. It just kept failing to breach that support, and ultimately it just kept bouncing up each time. But the bounces weren't that secure, and it just kept retracing a little bit back to the support level. And then ultimately, a couple of days later, it just bounced out of that support level into the higher, almost doubling within the next couple of days, as you can see from around here. From the 9th to the 23rd, it almost doubled from 367 to around 623 pounds. And then again, as you can see, it just hit that breach over there. It just breached the resistance over here, breached the resistance, so breached the resistance over here, then breached the resistance over here, and utilizing this level, so we'll call this support 1, utilizing support 1 as the support. So then it just stayed in an accumulation based period. So that's what we call this period, when it just stays within a trend, an accumulation based period. As you can see, as later on, what we'll be showing you is chart patterns. This is what's called a double top. And a double top, which anyone knows from trading and which you'll eventually find out from trading, is it ensures it's failed to breach the resistance twice. After that, it fails it figures out itself. Because the market ultimately understands and sorts out a little bit of an equilibrium, it realizes, okay, you know what? We're going to have to retest the support to see if that will hold, because it is within a accumulation based period. So retest the support. The support is very, very strong, stronger than previous levels that we saw. And then again, it just breached the resistance ultimately, and then breached the resistance here, saw another double top, and then came back within this trend. Ultimately, support and resistance is all that you need to make a trade. Hey, let's show you what's actually going to happen with Ethereum again. The date is 4th of June. We'll show you what's going to happen based on the one. We'll show you the 6 hours. The 6 hours gives you a little bit of a bigger picture. So, we'll do it again. We'll show you a little bit of an update. Here is the level 511. That is the strong support. It failed to breach that again. Went up to 623, failed to breach that. It might be seen again of this. It might be seen again of the April to May parts where it just failed to breach support, hit the resistance, hit again to 813. And that's what we'll most likely see over here. We'll put our green box to show and illustrate you. Remember the date's 4th of June. You will check this later on and you will realize, okay, wow, Nuvi was right. And so what will happen now is there's a massive shorting opportunity. It failed to breach resistance, failed 3-4 times over the course of 6 hours. So roughly, no, that's 24 hours. Over the course of 24 hours, as you can see over here, remember it's 6-hour increments, just failed to breach that resistance. Ultimately, it's going to go into a little bit of an accumulation period, and then it's going to go into the support level over here. So the support level, it's going to retest it, and almost instantly within that, it's going to go up until, let's get you a little bit of an arrow, it's going to go from here to around here. And that is what we call a representation of a long. Let's put a long in just to show you how much you'll be stand to make. That's around 59%. Based on a 50x leverage, that is almost a 400% return, give or take.
Yeah, can I stop you here? We're not using any of this.
Why?
Because it sounds like shit.
It doesn't matter. I'm teaching them. I don't give a fuck. You're putting this in there.
No. Then script it. Look what you're going to talk about. Write a fucking...
No.
Make up. I've listened to these things. The amount of times you said fucking resistance.
It doesn't matter. It's teaching
No,
them.
make up. You have to script it. You have to word it.
No,
perfectly.